Emily Wilson said an unalived nurse wasn't a productive citizen and an effing loser, and his life didn't have much meaning because he wasn't Elon Musk. In that case, I want to ask her if my cerebral palsy makes me unproductive enough to die too. What's up, everyone? Today we're diving into a dumpster fire so toxic, so devoid of basic human empathy that I actually had to check if I was watching a debate or a supervillain origin story. We are reacting to the Jubilee face-off titled Mega Women Faces Off Against Young Progressive Men, feat. Dean Withers and Emily Wilson.
Welcome to Face Off, where two people debate four claims. One clock, no interruptions. Today, Dean Withers, a liberal political commentator and debater, faces off against Emily Wilson.
Jubilee will slap a copyright strike on you if you breathe on their footage for too long. But y'all need to hear these words to believe them.
That's why they're getting shot and killed, rightfully so.
You think that his death was justified, his murder was justified, his execution was justified because he was mentally ill, he wasn't perfect like the Democrats say, CNN photoshopped his face, and he was at a nice protest, right?
I think it was justified.
And I'm going to pause a lot to scream into the void. The setup, Dean comes in with a claim that says,
My first claim is Donald Trump's mass deportation is anti-American.
Donald Trump's mass deportation plan is un-American. And Emily? Oh, Emily decided to speedrun how to lose the moral high ground in 60 seconds.
They're intervening with ICE doing their jobs. That's why they're getting shot and killed, rightfully so. I defend ICE doing their jobs. Both of those deaths of whatever their names were.
Emily responds. So she starts with that the people that are getting shot and killed are rightfully so. Excuse me? Rightfully so?
Rightfully so.
Rightfully shot and killed? She goes on a 90-minute rant about deportation numbers under different presidents.
Obama was like a, what, 3.1 mass deportation?
Nothing says I have empathy like citing statistics while people are dying. She finally pauses the clock. Dean thankfully doesn't just talk about Trump being bad, he zooms in on the one horrific phrase, rightfully killed.
And your takeaway is we're better off without them, and that the shooting's justified. A hospital lost one of their nurses.
And he brings up Alex Preddy. For those who don't know, Alex Preddy was a legal U.S. citizen. A nurse shot by ICE. Dean asks her a very simple question.
So Emily, tell me, what is the legal standard that authorizes an LEO and engaging in the use of lethal force ending the life of an American?
Does she know?
I don't know. Go ahead and tell me.
Emily's brain does this weird thing where it short circuits. She admits she doesn't know the legal framework of LEO.
You're mentally ill. That's why you can't be at your job or with your friends anymore. Your family doesn't give a shit about you, or else you wouldn't be at an ICE protest because you're not a productive citizen. And other than that, when I see it, I'm like, it's justified. Guess what? If I thought someone was going to harm me or my life, I would choose me over them.
So Dean logically asks, if you don't know the legal framework, how can you justify the shooting?
So to clarify, your claim is, I have no clue what the legal standard is that justifies an LEO to shoot and kill an American, but I think Alex Preddy was mentally ill, therefore I think it's okay. Right?
Logical, right? Responsible. Well, Emily doesn't do logic. She does vibes. And her vibes are terrifying.
Go ahead and please educate me and tell me, but I think it was justified.
So instead of admitting that maybe a cop shouldn't shoot a citizen,
But yes, in my eyes, it is justified.
Emily doubles down. She goes on another rant. She says, going to protests with lawful firearms is wrong. Okay, fine, debate that.
Merely being in possession of a firearm does not authorize an LEO to literally shoot and kill you.
It's just not a smart thing to do. That's why you end up dead.
But then she goes for the jugular of decency. She calls Alex Preddy mentally ill.
Let Americans like you to think that the murder of your American brothers and sisters roaming free in the streets of this country is somehow justified simply because they disagree with you.
If you are someone who is no longer working at your job, your family's worried about you, you're clearly brainwashed by the media, you're mentally ill.
A false claim on the pictures that were shown on right-wing channels, which is a lie, by the way. He did not have a mental illness. But even if he did, Watch what she uses that as an excuse for.
You are at the point where politics has made you so mentally ill that you are clearly a danger to yourself and others, probably like him and the other woman, as her whatever lesbian wife is telling her to go run over ICE agents, instead of being at home taking care of their children. Then
this goes back and forth for 12 minutes. Dean is trying to explain basic human rights. Emily is trying to explain why some people deserve bullets.
Okay? Saying that he could have avoided the situation by staying home, it does not amount to an objectively reasonable threat upon the lives of the LEOs. That's just more victim-blaming rhetoric, like the other rhetoric we hear from a lot of people on the right.
She literally used mental illness and not productive
you wouldn't be at an ICE protest because you're not a productive citizen.
as a justification for ICE to kill him, a legal US citizen, a nurse.
That's what you're telling me. I'm mentally ill.
Dean calls her mentally ill.
If anybody's mentally ill because of politics here, it's you.
And that surely hit a nerve. She gets mad, and then she pivots to Ashley Babbitt, the January 6th writer who was shot.
On January 6th, no one gave a shit that Ashley Babbitt got shot. They were probably happy she got shot.
Emily says nobody gave a shit when Ashley Babbitt got shot, okay? And then she uses that to justify her apathy toward Alex. And I want you to listen to the mask come all the way up.
That's what you're telling me. I'm mentally ill because I don't give a shit because he was a loser.
Then she drops the quote that should end any claim she has to being a serious person.
And his life didn't really have much meaning, and it sure as doesn't matter to me. And I'm sorry, that's not the cute, politically correct take.
He was a fucking loser. His life didn't really have a meaning, and it sure didn't matter to me. Wow, a nurse saving lives is not a productive member of the society.
But that is a common sense take, okay? Sorry, he's not a productive citizen. He's not curing cancer. He's not going to be the next Elon Musk. I don't care. I don't have to care about people I don't know.
Sorry, he is not a productive citizen. He's not curing cancer. Don't have to care about people I don't know. I don't give a shit. Just because you're a nurse doesn't mean you're a productive member of the society.
Yeah, just because you're a nurse does not mean you're a productive member of society.
Because he is not Elon Musk. Do you all hear the oligarchy brain?
No.
The idea that your right to live is contingent on being a billionaire or curing a terminal disease is literally the philosophy of a comic book villain. Tell me who has actually cured cancer? Because India is the capital of cancer right now. I don't see anybody saving Indians. I don't have to care about people I don't know. That is the tagline of this video. That is the thesis of her entire argument. She doesn't know Alex Preddy, so his murder is fine. She doesn't know the people ICE shoots, so they deserve it.
So just to clarify, you think that a nurse at a veterans hospital who helped save the lives of those that were willing to lose their lives for us in war, protecting our Constitution, our inalienable natural-born rights, is a fucking loser doing nothing productive for society, right?
Yeah, just because you're a nurse does not mean you're a productive member of society.
All right, I'm done mocking and I'm done with the sarcasm for a second because Emily Wilson said something and I need to ask her a question. I need to ask you all a question, the audience. Emily said mental health issues are a justification for ICE killing someone just because they are at a protest. She says Alex Preddy's life didn't have meaning because he was mentally ill and not productive. So here is my question. I have cerebral palsy. It is a neurological condition. It affects my movement, and in the eyes of a lot of ableists, it is a mental issue. It affects how society views my productivity. So Emily, does that mean I deserve to die as well if I'm ever going to join a protest? Does my cerebral palsy make me an unproductive member of society? Because I'm not curing cancer. I'm making YouTube videos for social awareness. Does that put me in the fucking loser category? Because your words, and I want to be very clear about this, gave the exact same impression as the victim blamers who say the criminal is going to do crime. Why did you go out with your body? You are saying ICE is going to shoot people. Why did Alex Preddy exist while being mentally ill? Do you hear how monstrous that is? Dean Withers showed patience that I do not possess. Obviously, he has experience dealing with people like her. He tried to explain that a legal citizen has a right not to be executed by federal agents. Emily Wilson showed us that for some people, empathy is a zero-sum game. So in the end, Dean and ends up calling her mentally ill as well. Because according to her, if you are not Elon Musk, she doesn't give a shit if you die. Remember that when you vote. Remember that when you talk to people who think like this. Because what happens in the US or the West doesn't stay in the US or the West. It affects the whole fucking world because everybody is watching you. Drop a like if you think nurses are actually productive members of society. Comment below, is there any justification for what Emily said? Or is this just pure sociopathy? I'm going to go hug my physical therapist. I'll see you in the next
This
one.
is like rage bait.
I kind of forgot how crazy your beliefs are, Emily.
They're literally, it's just what everyone who has common sense thinks, but they don't have the balls to say out loud. Because you have to do the politically correct bullshit.